There's a picture of me at my desk 500 years ago. Same thing. Me now, me then. Minus the people around him that give a darn about what he thinks. Other than that, same person, basically. I got grapes and apples on my desk and a candle. Mine's, fragrant. Same thing. Same thing. Well, that was fun. Did you enjoy that? We kind of went crazy there. That was only a 30-year period. And we've connected just about everything. This is all united up. There's just a couple of holdouts up here. We've even gotten up to the Orkneys. That's ours. Eventually we'll have to clean this up, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't even remember getting that. But we cleaned up France, cleaned up Germany. Right now the German queen is fighting my wife. There's nothing I can do about it, which is weird. Cleaned up that little blue speck that was here, whatever that was. Got hold of Lombardy, which would be Italy. Ate up half of Hispania. Took Constantinople. Ate up a little small countries up here, just kind of gobbling up, eliminating countries. That was all one king. If you remember this guy, he's only 35. He's only 35. But his older brother right here, Nicholas, was the guy who started this whole thing. Nicholas. And then about 3 montage clips in, Nicholas dies. I betroth his younger brother to the same girl, who's a little bit older now, right? She's 2 years older. She was a year younger than Nicholas. She's 2 years older than Breslegar. But he won a holy war when he was young, got the Lionheart, won a crusade when he was old, and has just gone on the utter warpath. And you might be looking right now, oh, you've got it. You've won. Oh, we picked up Egypt at one point. You might be thinking, you've done it, Drew. But no. Now what happens is the enemies move from outside your country primarily to now you're worried about both. And now we are totally worried about the enemies inside our country. Holding this together is going to be hard. And it won't be hard for this guy. As long as he's alive, he's fine. It'll be about always making sure your heirs are ready to inherit. That'll be the trick from this point forward. We've been dumping as much money as we can into domain limit, as much as we can into some retinues, anything that gets us boosts to attitude, like temples, right? So we put a bunch of money into hospitals and then dump it into soup kitchens because that boosts our temple vassal opinion. Anything that gets us vassal opinion, we're grabbing. So that'll be the name of the game now. Is great, we're big, we're blobby. What do we do to make sure we sustain the internal happiness now is more important than grabbing more land. In fact, and this is an illustration, this is why I stopped. Right now, the Empress of Umayyad, she's long past the heyday of the Umayyads now. She's clinging on to what little is left. You can see here, she's fighting the King of Sardinia and Corsica in a holy war. She's fighting the Duke of Leon in a holy war. She's fighting the King of Asturias, which is my son, in a holy war. And so I jumped in on her because, and I picked a place she's not going for. So I went for Toledo. It's going for Baja. This one went for Badajaz, Badajaz. Nailed it. And this one went for Tehert. Each one went for a different territory. Now that my vassals are huge and powerful, and we're kind of butting up against the edges of religion, they will grow the empire for you. This is a good thing and a bad thing. They will continually get stronger and stronger and stronger, while you have to somehow keep pace. You got to keep investing in what you've got and keep pace with this. All the while, the empire will grow on its own. I jumped in on this and then crushed her army to make sure that my guys can win. So, King of Sardinia is up 59%. Duke of Leon is up 76%, and my son is up 74%. We are just on 100%, and we've smashed her army. Right? She's been smooshed, so she's pretty much out of it. And I'm going to take her capital. I didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway. Boom. One last kick in the butt. And I accept. Holy Ward all this. That's 4 provinces she loses. All these go home. But hopefully, in that victory. All of this goes to where it belongs. So if I kick, boom, boom. It's usurped. Yeah, the Queen of Germany just took a county off my wife. Poor girl. We haven't been very productive in the children. Only had 2. But my son just picked up a bunch of territory now in that victory. Covered the treaty. She's still at war with the King of Sardinia and the Duke of Leon. And hopefully those wars finish off and they grab all that territory. So I was able to grab more than I would have had I been alone because my vassals are doing the job for me. So that's now, what do I do with this land? Well, this land is all about making sure that the kingdom is strong. I can't hold on to it. What can I do? All right. That's it. We've done it. We've just about taken back Hispania. I think we will go for the recreating the Roman Empire. So if we go to decisions, which I'm just clicking aimlessly, found the Holy Roman Empire. To do this, we basically need to get the King of Sardinia. With the Kingdom of Sardinia title on my player, then I can do the Empire of Italia. With the Empire of Italia and the religious head with an opinion over 25, I can found the Holy Roman Empire, and then I can try to recreate the total borders, and that'll be the goal for this campaign. I might still fail. You think, oh, you're out of the woods now, you're big and bad. Well, not really. Not really out of the woods yet. The truth is, not any close to out of the woods. Now we have to manage this big behemoth of an organization through successions. So, all right, that's it. Welcome back to OinkGaming. I'm Drew, your host. Today, I'm going to slow it down a bit, and we're going to cover an evolving topic here. So in the last video, we only spent like 30 years and did, 100 years worth of conquering in 30 years, and then sped the whole thing up just to put together a dizzying array of my talent and skill at this game. Well forged over way too much time playing. This video, I'm going to slow it down. Our dude here has had a heck of a career, and he's only 39. However, he is now a drunkard. Okay, so that's a thing. Not that big of a deal by itself. But he has the great pox, and he's a lunatic now. So he lived fast and hard. It is what it is. Everybody's at peace with him over here because he's been whipping the tarnations out of it. We've already set up the heir. The heir's in good shape. He's 17. He's average, below average at everything. But we've set him up as king. So we need him to have some babies to secure the line. I have matrilineally married my daughter, who's inbred and ugly. So this guy right here did not marry for love. Then I set him up. He was a nobody. I set him up as the Duke of Mercia. He's down here. So he's in good shape. They need to have babies, but it may not be in the cards, if you know what I mean. So when you're dealing with a big empire now, your enemies go from outside to inside. We can muster darn near 100,000 troops. The only one who comes close is the Seljuks. The Seljuks kind of occur in this game around a timeline. They kind of rise out of nowhere. They get a bunch of event spawn troops, and then they just go haywire. It can be really fun to play them. And we may do that at some point. And so they've been just eating up the Abbasids, who have also had to fight us. So they almost border us now. They are really close, and they'll just keep eating until we border each other. But they've got this little county right here in Italy that I'd like to gobble up for now, which will buy us a little bit of time of not having to worry too much about them. And it'll draw their armies in here where I can kind of set the game plan and whip up on them. They can rouse like 55,000 troops. So that'll be fun to do. And because we're waging war here, we'll go ahead and pick off one of these others in the area, raise the troops, and win 2 or 3 wars at once. But all that is kind of just sideline now, because what really needs to happen is we need to think about our empire. We're not going to live forever. Heck, we may not even live for very long. Our inheritance should be good. Our son's set up solid. Our daughter is set up solid. And if all of them were to die, it would be inherited by this guy. He's my brother, and thus has claims. Those claims get weaker as new heirs occur, but he can easily inherit from me via his father. So if I go to me, well, no, it wouldn't be him. It'd be this guy, my brother, King of Carthenia. Carinthia? Carinthia. I'm going with that. He would inherit if both my son and my daughter were to die, and he's got a boy. So lineage is good, but you, now that you're primogeniture, cannot marry your daughters off any other way than matrilineal. You have to marry them off matrilineal because it will follow that line of succession. So that's first thing. Check. Second thing, well, we're dumping money into building, right? So you can see all these are loading up because I've just completed a building. And now we just dump as much money into building as we possibly can our troops up. But all that being said, that doesn't give us a whole lot of security. If we check out our troopageness, right, we just look at our breakdown of troops, we can raise 8,500 from our domain. We've got 15,000 in revenue. So combined, we can put 23,000 troops that are controlled, right? That we control in the field. Now, I'm not a great military commander, but not nearly as bad as I once was. So, under a decent military, an average military, we can raise 23,000 troops. However, my vassals constitute 71,000 of my troops. So if you go here to your realm tree and look at your vassals, you got to keep these people happy now. They're the key to everything. And less is more in that having less vassals is easier to manage, but it also centralizes the power within your vassals. So this guy doesn't much like me. Well, we can deal with that, right? I can move him up underneath somebody if I wanted to. These little guys, why keep him? Why keep him? Well, I'm keeping him because I'm probably going to make him a king. That's why I'm keeping him like that. You got to create vassals that like you. And then you got to move dukes that don't like you up underneath kings. And then you got to just keep investing in your relationships. The enemies now are within. The breakup is within, right? So this is the faction window. And I haven't introduced this to you in the past, but this is the faction window. If you compare, okay, I can raise 23,000 troops against any of my vassals. That's pretty impressive. The largest vassal I've got can raise total levy. The Duke of Bulgaria, he can raise 19,000 straight up. Right? So 23 versus 19, I'm clearly bigger than him, one-on-one. But it's not one-on-one. I would raise all my vassal levies if he revolted against me. But the way this game works is your vassals can kind of join up together and create factions. And that means that this leader here has the choice when they get to, I think it's 70%, there's a chance it can fire. At 80%, it usually does fire. Barring any holy wars or anything like that, defensive wars, it can fire off. So if this number gets above 80%, you have the risk of this guy declaring to you his intention. So this is independence. So the King of Bulgaria wants some independence. Great. So I got to make sure that he doesn't actually form that that faction, that he doesn't manage to get that up over and above that number. How do I do that? Well, I don't make them stronger. That's the first thing. I make them like me more. The raised levies is at -3. That's not going to give you. If you get over 50, they're liable to get out of your faction. So you got to get your relationships up to get them out of factioning. Even over 50, sometimes they will still dislike you. And he's got a bunch of stuff that he likes about me, but we have these huge penalties from the feudal tax and the high crown authority. -30 on all of our characters. And our technology is only +9. So we're not compensating that with technology. As you move up noble customs, by the end of the game, you'll have 8 times 3, 24 plus relationships with your nobles. It's easier to handle, these kind of crown laws. But at this point, it's not. So it's very, very early in the game to be this large. It's only 10:22. And so we got to be managing these relationships. The first thing we'll do is this guy here doesn't like me. He's not going to like me. Should like me. He's small. I'm going to dump him up underneath somebody who I can control. Someone like this. He's not huge. This guy also has got a problem that he's in a bit of a plot that is not appropriate. So what I also can do is this. I can imprison him. I have what's called righteous imprisonment. I can attempt to imprison him. He'll either escape or revolt. I can put down the revolt and then revoke his title. So we're going to do it. He rebelled. No biggie. He's got a couple lands. I could have made this easier on myself by just staging the troops on top of him to begin with, but I didn't. It won't be a difficult war. Paying ransoms from the last war. I got a bunch of things. All right. This is an event that happens as the game progresses. Once this guy turns Italian, he can take the Lombard kingdom and turn it into the Italian kingdom, which is cool. We need to be the king of Sicily to create the empire of Italy, of Italia, and then that'll allow us to create Rome, which is something that we're definitely going to do in this campaign if we pull it off. All right, let's get in here. We're going to crush his rebellion, revoke his title, give his title to him, and move on with life. We're going to knock down factions. See, he's out of a faction now because he's in the middle of a rebellion, which was not smart on his part. Here's a guy who... Okay, all right. He's in my dynasty. He's in a faction. He's probably pretty cheap to pay off. So the other option is to pay somebody off. I can give him a title, send him a gift. He's only 26 for 42. That's perfect. He'll jump up to 63. And you'll see him jump out of these factions, which just weakens the factions. Do I need to weaken the factions at this stage? No. None of these factions are big enough to be a problem to me. But if you keep on top of something, it doesn't get out of hand. A lot of things are happening. I just captured him. I'm winning this war. He's got money, so what we're going to do is we're going to ransom him, which is not going to end the war. I could have ended the war, but I'd rather have the 145 ducats. Now what we're going to do is go siege his capital, because what we're going to do is take his title. The plan here, here's a rebellion. He only has one county, Bordeaux. And you might be wondering, how did you pronounce that correct and everything else incorrectly? And it's because that's associated to wine. That's why I could pronounce that correctly. When we end this war, which won't be long, we're going to siege his territory, we're going to weaken him, and then we're going to revoke his duchy title, which is going to drop him just to a Count of Bordeaux and unlock all of these. These are all going to become direct to me, and I'll be the Duke of Aquitaine. Then I'm going to transfer that to one of these two fellows who are very loyal and of my dynasty. They'll become the Duke of Aquitaine. I'm going to weaken him by sieging his territory, because even though I will revoke his title, he'll remain a strong claim on the title. And if he's really strong, he may just challenge the king and take his title right back. I don't want that. Now, the advantage is all these will become independent, and they'll come directly to me. So when I give this guy my title, these will all come to him directly, and this guy simply just be a count, and a count with a very broken county. Are there any other troops in the area that I can get this over with quicker? Oh, splendid. Get these up here. Don't want to be arbitrary. Yeah, we'll go for just. Didn't get it. It's alright. Lost my marshal. Get a new marshal. Train troops. I'm starting a third retinue group. You don't want your retinues. You want your retinues big, but you don't necessarily want to use them. In most wars, you want to not use your retinue, and that's because retinues are expensive. So if you can avoid using them, that's better. Boom. Now that's 93%. Just going to siege this out and really ruin this guy as best we can. Generating revenue for me. The more money I have, the better. You're saying I'm taking revenue from my own kingdom. Absolutely. My enemies are within now. Offer peace. Enforce demands. I win. Everything comes back to me. Okay. Now, he's in jail. I could ransom him again. He's going to hate me now. That's fine. I'm going to revoke his title. Why can I revoke his title? He's going to continue to hate me. But because he revolted against me, the other vassals are all like, yeah, he was a jerk to you. Like, totally. He did something that was wrong. He was guilty. You were like, I'm going to imprison you. Then you revolted, and then you squashed the rebellion. I'm fine. You can do whatever you want to this guy. You can do one thing to him. So I'm going to revoke the duchy. Boom. Now he's just a count. All these become independent. Just like I said, I'm over my vassal limit. That's not a big deal. I'm going to pick one of these fine fellows. Which one of these do I care? This one's got a bunch of heirs. This one's got a... Man. My dynasty is fertile. I'm not fertile, but they are. I'm going to make him the Duke of Aquitaine and put everybody else underneath him. Boom. So he just grew strength. He will love me for a good deal longer. Now he desires the kingdom of Aquitaine, which is fine. I may just give it to him at some point. Not my problem. Whatevs. Whatevs McGee. Okay? Not a big deal. This is my brother-in-law. Whatever. Problem solved, in a sense. Keep selling these captives. Made a bunch of money. What do we do with the money? We go back to our lands, and we build things that gives us troops. Troops, troops, and troops. This is my cheapest troop build, so this is where we're going to focus our time. I also feel like I'm building a wonder somewhere. I feel like I started that last time. Maybe I didn't. It's been a few days. Whatevs. Alright, we got a little bit more money. Can I build something here? Keep gallows glass. 50 heavy. Man, that's expensive for 50. I want quantity. Quantity. Alright. So that was handled effectively. Ooh, hello. Weird. Okay. Let's check this out. They conquered a bunch of Orthodox areas and left the people. This is a rebellion. He has a bunch of troops, somehow. The rebellion is against the tyranny. Wow. That is awesome. Well, that gives us an opportunity to go ahead and grab that province right there, which is what we're going to do. We're just going to make this simple. Really? I don't have a claim on that? You sure? Do I need to land somebody to pull this off? No, you're not going to give it to me. What is the dukedom here? De jure? Okay, yeah. This guy's a kinsman. How do I get at this? Claimants. Oh, hello, sir. Yes, please. All right, let me explain a mechanism to you. When you press a claim of somebody who's in your court and of your dynasty, and you succeed, they will be rolled up underneath you if you aren't the same title. So this guy showing up. Thank you. Thank you. Show up, please. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, beautiful titles. Love him. Love him. What is his name? Ionikos de Pohor. Great. What's up, brother? Now the question is whether he will... Iconus deport pressure. Yeah, I just want that. That's all I want. The question is whether or not he will march this way or he'll focus on the Seljeks. Let's hope he doesn't march 50,000 troops over here. He certainly doesn't need to. This is a very simple war. He should just sacrifice this and move on with his life. The AI tends to come after the player. Okay. So, let's go look at our factions. Keep draining these people of their money. Great. Great, great, great. And I see there's a bunch of factions. Who's prone? It's often the same players who are prone to this stuff. He's a nobody. He's a nobody. You want independence? Well, it's because you're a lunatic and has the Great Pox. You and I should be tight, given the fact that we suffer from the same. He wants the Duchy of Ulster. The Kingdom of Ireland might be something that we want to grab a hold of. Can we claim it? Boy, we don't want to do that. If he does anything stupid with me, Queen, King, Brother. Let's keep him happy. We want military men who are Britain. Yes, make him a Briton. Cultures, in this game early on, you definitely want to make sure that your culture group, as you're expanding, is your culture group, that your vassals are your culture group. But this far in the game, you can't control it. And it's best to just Let it roll. Let's see what he's doing. Is he coming? I don't see any red. Bulgaria's off to war with somebody. Good. Pressing claims is a big deal now. Rather than pressing your own claim, you don't have any use for these claims. So, and it's not like you need the land. Holy Land, taking a holy war is great because it gives you a bunch of free land, and with that land you can dole it out and create security. You can either create another vassal that loves you, further strengthening your position, or you can dole it out to your strongest dudes. And there he is. He's probably going to quick siege it. Yep. And then disappear. What you doing? Oh, no you don't. You might be surprised to find out that I was waiting for you. You were expected, as the Emperor once said. Star Wars. That was a Star Wars reference. Oh, just. No. The Bulgars, the clergy, and the barons all claimed the right to spoils from a shipwreck that capsized outside of Oriel. The rights to the spoils will be given to church, mayor, crown. Oh, thank you. The strong do what they can, and the weak do what they must. All right, that's too many troops. Don't need that many altogether. We're suffering attrition in our own lands, which is epic fail. Boom, let's get this over with. Any siege, dude, just to make this go quicker. Boom. One thing we can do, it doesn't really matter at this point. We've got the troops. There they are right there, suffering attrition. Are they coming back? Yeah, they got bigger fish to fry. I'm not sure what the problem is. So, control the succession. It becomes job number 1. Succession must be perfect. Job number 2, manage to always be improving relations with these guys. Like right now, he could use a little love. We'll go to him. What's up? Hey, listen. My chancellor's going to tell you all about how I'm a really good... I missed. I thought I clicked there. Is that still his land? No, it's not. Great. That's embarrassing. Keep pumping these out. Just a nice little influx. Now this guy, Count Siege. Why is this a thing? Why are you imprisoned by me? It's Greek. I don't even know why I have you. But you belong to me. And you got gold. So here's the deal. When you have an imprisoned person who belongs to you, he's in my empire, you can banish him and you get all his money. He doesn't like that. And he could have been a very useful character. Or he could just give me his money. Go through here. Alright, now we've got a little independence movement that's starting to get a little... these people actually like me. That's who I just sent to go talk to and screwed up and clicked the wrong button. Man, I got so many people here. Here's one from my realm. Mubarak. Mubarak Ibn Mubarak. Creative naming conventions. He's not terribly useful. He's Bedouin and Muslim, so that doesn't match up with me. He's got a little bit of gold. He's got a lot of bit of gold. I could demand religious conversion that frees him and makes him Catholic. But now he's got all this gold and I can't get it. That's going to pay for a building. I will name it Mubarak Castletown. In honor. What are we doing down here? I finished my book yesterday. This one. See that? I've been reading this book for quite literally 12 weeks. Because I don't have time to read. And then I decided I don't have time to read. And then I took this on. Like, what? It's the second book from this author that I've read. Edward. And he writes books, they're grand books that follow the story of a country through families and descendants. A theme here, I know. And this one is all about Russia, and it's fascinating. I read, the first one of his I read was Princes of Ireland. And there's not a lot of character development, because you kind of engage in the story, and it's more about learning the history of the country through like a fictitious story. And I knew nothing about Russian history, and it was fascinating. So our next campaign will definitely be in Russia, and I will share with you some of the things I've learned from this book. I don't know. It's not a terribly compelling story because you keep stopping and starting, and it's really about putting yourself in a time and place more than it is getting to know characters and learning, life lessons. Nevertheless, it is done, and I am proud of myself for having finished it. And it's just sort of in a bit of a funk for 24 hours. I don't let myself get in a funk or stay in a funk very long. Mubarak Castletown is under construction. Thank you, sir. I don't want to stay in a funk very long. It's sort of like, okay, I had one kind of a bad day yesterday of just not making progress, and so I was like, well, what's the deal? What can I do? And you look for something simple and easy that you can just accomplish to get yourself motivated again. So I cleaned my room. My man room is now turned into Uber office. It's just all office all the time, and people will be texting me, and my wife works in the office now, and I work up here constantly, and it's just messy. So I cleaned up the office, which made me feel pretty good. Now the question is, do we invade him and try to bring this about, or not? Let's not. If he wants to come reclaim it, he can. Just let that fester. If his rebellion ends, I'll lose the chance at that. Whatevs. Not a big deal. It's better to send the levies home and then take on another war while I'm in the area than to just leave the levies sitting there, or try to take the attrition penalties all the way over here and try to conquer him. Whatever. Let them fight it out. I don't want to help either side. The enemies of my enemies are my friends, and right now the enemies of my enemies are my enemies. So it's all a win-win. These two bash each other over the head for a nice 5 years. Yay me. So I cleaned my room, and then I was like, all right, what else can I do? So I got caught up on my Bible reading. I'm reading through the Bible this year with a group of guys, and I was behind. I was like 10 days behind. I was smoking a Cuban with one of them 2 days ago. He just came back from Cuba, and that's not illegal anymore. And so we're smoking a Cuban cigar, and I had told him that I was like 10 days behind on the reading schedule, and not to spoil the ending for me, which is a Christian joke. It was funny to me. I laughed. Caught up on that, and then I finished that book, which was I rented that book, had to renew it, then had to return it, go back the next day, and did it again. It's not highly in demand, which is good for me. At some point, this was connected. How did I lose this? I connected this. Inheritance? How did that happen? Oh, that bugs me. All right. Anyway, it's a good book. I mean, if you don't know anything about Russia, it's not a bad place to start. To start with like a fiction book that you can just explore the story. It starts literally prehistoric, with woods dwelling. All right, we got a new queen. Woods dwelling ancient peoples, and then works all the way up through the Bolshevik Revolution, which is insane. I mean, it's just really cool. When someone ascends to the throne, it's a great time to usually give them money because they don't have much. It's not the case here. She's in good shape. Yeah, not much I can do for her at the moment. We're just going to have to let her grow up. She won't be a problem until she's grown, which is 3 years away. These are all... I raised up a kingdom here to weaken... the king of Bulgaria a little bit. That's going to be a theme. Bulgaria is just so huge. When I look at his domain, he's just massive. So, over here should be a king. Let's look at the de jure. Oh, that's Bulgaria. What about up here? What's this? Yeah, so like I can create a king of this area, raise up one of these vassals. She might be a good candidate. Raise her up, and it takes her away from the king of Bulgaria. And it doesn't tick him off. It should, but it doesn't. All right, while we're waiting on this war, we got the war score. It's going to take them a while to get over here. I might as well raise the troops and attack somebody else. Right now we got... The Umayyads are just whooped. Is this a new one? No. This guy here could be someone we mess with. We need to grab this land. And it looks like my guys are already kind of winning, so we can look for expansion here. I can take Genoa. This dude is getting reconquered. I could do this for him. Yeah. He's going for the whole shebang. What's this down here? So I'm going to pick a war, jump in. But the focus for this video will be making sure the realm is strong internally. And it all seems fine and dandy right now. It's just like, oh, you're good now. You're set. You're blobby. All is good. But in this game, you are not. I die. This guy takes over. He's now got an heir, which is good. This guy takes over, and utter chaos can occur. So you are now in a mode of focusing internally as much as you can. All right, that's over with. What's happening here? We still got this. We're at 99% with this guy. He won't take it. And we're at 76% with this guy. This is just a little puny war to distract him, more or less, to defeat him. He's got no money. He's got a revolt on his hands, and all we're going after is this little down here, this mosque. That's it. It's a nothing thing, but it's easy. And I was already going to bring an army down here. And again, my vassals will eat all this up eventually. I don't really have to do anything. Who is this guy, and why do I need to fight him? In fact, right there is the 100% on this. So let's go investigate what happened there. This comes into the empire. Now, if I had pressed a claim with somebody in my court who wasn't of my dynasty, that would have been an independent state. But because I pressed it, then and it was somebody of my dynasty, then perfect. You know, that works out perfect for me. Like this. And we're going to grant him the duchy. Boom. And we need that duchy because I believe that duchy is inside the King of Sicily. And we're going to need, as we conquer this, we're going to have to become the King of Sicily so that we can form the Empire of Italia. Life goals. And now let's double check that now that we're at this Kingdom of Sicily. It's inside the Byzantine. Italy. Create. The Empire of Italia becomes the new de jure liege title of the King of Sicily. Is King of Sicily. So I've got to get the title King of Sicily. And then I can create the empire, and then I can create the Roman Empire. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to win this war against the Abbasids. It's kind of over already. I don't know who this guy is or why I care about him. What he's doing. He's hostile towards me. I don't know why. This is a de jure war, so it's not a big deal. I'm just going to send these home. Unnecessary. Anything I haven't... I can probably do this. Go over here and take whatever is over there. We're going to conquer that. Victory. We're at 88%. The Abbasids somehow have a bunch of mosques. Actually, one thing I can go is take this. Looks like that revolt ended. Alright, now I've got some land down here. So we go here. Why do these people hate me? Oh, domain's too big. That's a problem I'm going to solve. You can't forget about that. If you're holding way too much domain, your people will hate you. They'll be like, you're already king of everything. You don't need anything else. We're going to go down here to the weaker kings and feed them. Any way down? These are all direct vassals. Who are you? That's the dude I just made. Okay, over here. Looking for the lowest level king. A brother. Okay. We'll get rid of the 140. It'll put him at plus 37. He's a pretender, which is a bit of a problem, but I need him stronger. So we're going to give him Tangier. Boom. Okay, and that works doubly, right? Not only does he get granted everything I gave him, barony, county, title, all that stuff, but it dropped my domain too big down to negative 80 from negative 140. So it boosts him way up. All right, let's find somebody else who I need to boost. This guy is not my dynasty, otherwise I would be all over that like white on rice. Not my dynasty. This guy is my dynasty. Yeah, and we need him stronger. How many can he hold? He can have up to 7. He's got 2. Grant him that. Boom. Making him stronger. And then, yeah, it was him. So I just put all of the Aquitaine underneath him. And then I want this guy. How many can you hold? Okay. So he's missing a duchy title. I'm going to give him Al Reef. Everything below it. Okay, now he continues to love me, which is great. These are, now what you're doing is you're saying, okay, not only do I need to make my top guys happy, but rather than keep giving to my top people and making them stronger and creating a stratification where the rich get richer, you're also trying to feed the bottom so that the bottom vassals who love you are getting stronger. So you're trying to keep the vassal group kind of the same strength-ish. You don't want a massive discrepancy in strength. And so by feeding the lower half, feeding people deeper down the side, it makes it all much easier to control. Now those penalties are gone for too much domain. This is an issue. What is going on here? Yeah. Who are you fighting? Ugh. Alright, send gift. It's incredibly expensive. I want to demand religious, but he must be at peace. So we need to keep our eye on that. That's garbage. I keep having this issue with iconoclast popping up in here, and I've sent this guy to work on it, but he's working in Constantinople, so I'd rather work on that first. But I have no idea how it happened, but I keep getting iconoclast, which is a Christian Orthodox, there for no good reason. This is quite a hodgepodge. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy... We need to get him a Duke title. So let's find one that makes sense. Yep. This may create a little bit of conflict between him and his neighbor there. Duchy of Tangier. So because I'm giving him the title of duchy, but realize that his cohorts, the king of Swabia and the king of Carinthia, because both of those guys are equal to him, he doesn't get their lands. If they were dukes or counts, they would be rolled up underneath him, but they're not. So he just gets the title, and now he'll have a de jure claim against these guys. And eventually, if one of these gets stronger than the other, he may press his claim against him. Not my problem. They can duke it out. Vassals fighting each other, not a problem. We're going to go down here. We're at 99%. Make sure this one's got my siege guy. We're going to win this war, and it'll be over. I think all my other troops are down. This is recuperating. We're at 99%. There's my castle town up here. Wondrous. Now we're going to continue to create more troops. And it's all a game of quantity. I want more troops. But whatevs. Okay. Things are really stable. We're going to let this burn away. You never want to get this out of hand anymore because it matters. But if we take a look at the realm tree and we look at the most powerful vassals, I'm good. I'm good. This chick doesn't like me. But in her defense, I did, at one point, usurp her title. And then she took it back by force. Although she doesn't hate me for that. She hates me because I refused her council position. She wanted to be steward, and she's not as good as my current steward. So she was like, I'm better than him. But she wasn't. So I refused her council. That's why she hates me. But even if that weren't the truth, and that'll wear off. Hold on a second. 1040. 14 years. That's a long time to hate me over not getting a job. She'll be dead before she finishes hating me. But, you can't please everyone. You can please some of the people some of the time, but not all the people all the time, as it's said. Let's look at our factions. Pretty weak. There's no business. This guy shouldn't be in a faction. I hate that mechanic. The guy loves you, and he's like, nah, but I want to change succession law, even though I love you. Nah, I'm working on this guy. If I put him in, give him an honorary title, it gets him up to 30. And then if my chancellor can make him like me more, which would help if I moved my chancellor to where he can actually impact this. Y'all saw that, right? Y'all saw that? Is he in the right county? Currently. Is in Liege. He's in Liege. Yeah. Okay, so he's there. That's confusing because I was like, yeah, I'm his liege. Sure. He's in Liege. It just shows him standing in Uric. We good. Things are going swimmingly. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. It was this one here, which goes directly to him. So does he boost me? Nah, he doesn't care. Doesn't affect him at all. Whatever. He loves me anyway. Are they having kids? Oy. She's not likely to have kids. I did go ahead and go siege their capital just to bring it to an end sooner rather than later. And suffered some nasty attrition in the process, but we fine. This is a great event. So, every county has a limit. Every town has a limit on how many building slots, right? So we have, since the beginning of the game, only had 3 building spots in our castle, in our main county, duchy. What are the words? Words? Does anyone know words? But once you fill them up, occasionally you'll get an event that allows you to build another one. And I'm a big fan of that. And as soon as I can now, I can build temples to boost piety, cities to boost revenue, or castles to build troops. Unfortunately, I'm at my domain limit. Building a castle is not a terrible idea in that then you could just keep boosting more troops onto that barony. I got one up here that's got 2, right? And I can get 780 out of that and 600 out of that. But it takes up a domain spot. It also opens up a spot that I can stick somebody in the future if I want to, which is never a bad idea. We're not a terribly fertile group at the moment. Let's make sure my son's got money. We're not a terribly fertile group at the moment. It's not bad to have extra domain, but I'm a big fan of cities at this stage. So we're going to just go ahead and build another city and keep making sure the gold comes in droves. I also want to save up. Right now we're working on, money is good right now. Hoo-wee, is it good. I also want to save up. I've got this statue. It's about to be completed with stage 3. And we're also working on this, Watcher of the Giants. Oh, that's done. I can give that title to someone. So we go over here. Who is big and needs to love me more than they do? This guy. Or we look at factions. I call this squeaky wheel. The squeaky wheel gets what the squeaky wheel wants. This guy has the great pox as well. He's a hedonist. Grant. I'm sorry. Honorary title. Watcher of the Giants. Just +5. It's just boosts his prestige. That's all that is. And for that, he likes me a little bit more. Makes him feel like a jerk if he rebels against me. I try to get these. Right now, my domain troops inexplicably lost all of them and had to be started over, which is a little bit annoying. This is going to get me a little gold. I'm getting all these gold events because I've boosted stewardship. I get gold. Mayor loses gold. I get gold. Mayor loses gold. I lose piety. Things happen. Trade post is destroyed. I'll just take the money. All about that money. Alright, they must have gotten a little bit more money. I still got these prisoners. I went through and executed the ones that were not ever going to be worth anything, just to clear out my prisons, you know? I like to keep a tidy prison. I mostly killed 7-year-old girls. That's who was in the prison that wasn't worth anything. And even though it's a fake game, you still feel like a jerk while you're doing it. My daughter just died. Died an inbred freak. Brutal. Utterly brutal. She was horrible. She was horrible. But it wasn't her fault. So, This guy now, they had no kids. This guy set up as Duke of Mercia, you know, because he married my daughter. Now he's free to remarry and, you know, whatever. He's not important anymore. So, he's just a vassal. He's not my son-in-law. So I forgot about this a little bit, but I had Constantinople, which I conquered, and it's got the Hagia Sophia in it, right there, which is the old name for the Basilius, right there. Totally cool. And it's got a bunch of interesting buildings you can add to it, right? Temple Vassal Opinion +5, City Vassal Opinion +5, Proud Opinion +5, Same Religion +2. Right? These are awesome for controlling a large empire. Of course, that makes sense. When you're the Basilius, you start off the game with Constantinople and those buildings. And that's one way you can try to reduce the revolt risk that you constantly deal with as the Basilius of the Byzantine Empire, is you build up Hagia Sophia, and those give you those little bonuses, and those little bonuses add up. And I had forgotten all about it until this moment. That was dumb. I'm going to be able to build any of those plus opinions, as much plus opinion stuff as I possibly can. I'm also trying to save up enough money, and I'm failing miserably. I'm going to want to put a wonder up here somewhere. And I'm considering... Who's sieging? What? Who are you? What's going on here? Must be a trade war. You know, thinking about the different wonders that I've never built. There's a horse statue. That's a new thing I've never seen before. But I think probably the palace or the Magnificent Garden. Magnificent Garden gives you chances, different relationship bonuses and health bonuses. The longer I live, the better, for sure. So, now to do that is gobs of money. There's the garden's cheaper, 2,200. Might have to be the victory of another crusade before I can pull that off. I just can't save quick enough. I mean, I'm raking it in. My son is at war with the Caliph. Go get him. He's big and nasty right now. He's my only son, but he has been producing. Look at this. Twin boys. Boom. Shakalaka. Shakalaka shakaboom. Alright, we just built training. How's it coming along? The domain troops, 8,500. Yeah, there. City's built. Down here. Now, in a city, what you want to do is find a courtier who's got high stewardship because they maximize tax. So if I'm going to give this away to somebody, court. My court is real small. These are all soldiers, aren't they? We're looking for high stewardship. Alright, we're going to find people. People. Gender. Men. You can only give men stuff. Join court. Yes. Yes. Sort by stewardship. Preferably a Briton. It's 11. It's 36. Invite to court. He will say yes. Stealing a commander from Leon. One of the tactics you can use that's kind of underhanded, and it's one of those minor things. Grant landed. City of Saint Perion. Interesting. Is before you go to war with somebody, go through their court and see if there's anybody that you can steal that weakens them. It's kind of fun. It doesn't work when you're fighting across culture and across religion, but within your own religion, if I was, on par with somebody, which I'm not, then it may be useful to go in and try to steal this guy's, go to his court. Who's here that I might be able to grab? Here's a marshal, 18, wickedly good. Can I get him over to my side? He's the wrong religion. Saxons still haven't quite got everybody converted, so they're still dealing with that. Alright, that just about wraps it up. We are getting bigger, blobbier, and we're not even having to try at it anymore. Really just focused on keeping everybody happy inside the Empire. And I think definitely for the next campaign, we'll consider... See, these two went to war with each other. We'll consider a Russia. King of the Holy destroyed the title of the Duchy of Galloway. Why? Oh, because he lost his lands up there. He lost his lands. I had given him some land up here, and the King of Scotland took it from him. See that? So he destroyed the title so it couldn't be usurped. But now this guy definitely got a good deal weaker. And he's going to have problems probably holding on to everything. Yeah, he's at war with Bavaria, who's allied with Italy, which is his next door neighbor. So these two are at war with each other over... Yeah. So I gave this guy... Remember, I gave this guy the title of Tangier, which gives him a de jure claim against this guy here. And this guy just got beaten in a war against the Scottish, so he's weak. And this guy is taking advantage of it. Plus, he's got a strong alliance with Italy. So Italy showed up to help him. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And he's going to win and take that from him. So this guy gets stronger. This guy gets weaker. Ignore. And that's that. Cool. Great campaign. Going well. So this now is we're focused on controlling a sprawling empire more than we are worried about building or growing a vast empire.